Okay, this is part 3 in a series of if I could live anywhere in the United States, where can I live? And invited everybody to give recommendations, which please do. Drop it in the comments. Somebody here has suggested Springfield, Missouri. Let's look at it. I would really like to live in a smaller or mid-sized city, so Springfield really fits the bill with 169,000 people or so. The overall niche rating is about a B+, which is pretty good across the board. Cost of living and weather are of particular concern. Crime and safety also, but pretty good numbers. Here are some examples of home for sale: 129.9, 260, 322, 169.9. Most of these have been on the market for a little bit, which is an indicator that the real estate market, although affordable to enter, you may have some difficulty reselling your home. And a lot of these that I looked at were way overpriced. Some of the rankings: cities with lowest cost of living in America, best cities to retire, and cities with best schools, which is really awesome because I would love to go somewhere and be able to retire in place. I'm currently 45 and have some health conditions, so I really need availability of healthcare, affordable housing, and decent weather. So to get an idea of property taxes, I pull up this kind of random home. That would be great if I could pay $260,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 2,200 square foot place. And that price per square foot at $114, that's a steal. Then we look at property taxes, $2,458 per year. Those are quite low. This house has been on the market for a little while at $322,500 for a 4-bed, 2-bath, only about 1,700 square feet. It's overpriced. Even so, the tax is $2,600 per year, so that doesn't add significantly to your mortgage. We have a median home price of $146,400 with a rent of $878, with a disproportionate amount of renting versus owning, which can indicate a large segment of the population is poorly educated and or in the services industry. Just low wages. That generally indicates low wages. So this is where we get into healthcare. Missouri has major labor shortages and medical facility accessibility challenges. Some of the worst in the country. They're ranked 38th in the United States, which, doesn't sound that bad, except for all of the states below them have extremely high mortality and morbidity statistics and very low quality of life. There is a shortage of general practice physicians throughout the state, and because of restrictive abortions and reproductive rights laws that have just come out of the book, they have had mass quantities of doctors leave the state, particularly OBGYNs, as well as residency applications at Missouri hospitals go down exponentially. This means that future healthcare is going to be drastically affected by what's happening now. There is not a next generation of doctors coming up, which we're going to start seeing in 10 to 15 years. Then on top of that, we have kind of deep south kind of behaviors, lots of smoking, lots of drinking. This creates, high degrees of cancer, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, sedentary, and a lot of this is a function of the weather. It's very hot and very humid in the summers, and I lived in Des Moines, and I used to drive south into Missouri because I lived in a dry county, and at the time I drank, I would drive to a gas station and walk in where there were long-haul truckers sitting and in front of a freezer full of hard liquor smoking in a gas station. That was outside of Bethany, Missouri. So I'm immunocompromised, so I use COVID death rates as kind of a convenient shorthand for overall lifestyle considerations and access to healthcare. And as you can see, some of the poorest states fared the worst, which is not surprising. So I still mask publicly because I am immunocompromised, and one of the challenges I'm having is that in places where there's affordable housing, there is open aggressiveness and hostility to people who are masking. Here are the states that had the highest level of fatalities from COVID as of 2022. As you can see, West Virginia is there at the top, and Missouri is in the top 15. You'll notice these are the lower tiers. At the top there, Virginia, Maryland, states that I'm currently in. Washington, D.C., District of Columbia is down there toward the bottom. Washington State, Utah, Vermont, Maine, New England, the Pacific Northwest, and the Mid-Atlantic states fared the best in terms of COVID fatalities because of access to health care, as well as lifestyle factors and a willingness to believe science and allow evidence-based decision-making to guide their individual choice. So, Springfield, Missouri, definitely out. Thank you so much for the recommendations. Drop them in the comments.